Welcome!
What's up, guys? Thanks for joining us on the Ethereal Podcast, episode 16.
16's a good number. Like Jonas was born in that. It used to be my lucky number because of that.
Because of Nick Jonas. Okay.
Yeah. He was a special interest, so.
No judgment. Today we're going to talk about niches.
Yes.
It's a funny word.
Niche. I feel like we were talking about niches a little bit the other day, and what I was saying is I feel like with niches, the problem is that they are a niche, and so if you break down like what the word is, it's like a select group. And so I feel like, for instance, I just assumed I wouldn't be good at things, so I didn't try things, but I didn't figure out until I was in my mid-20s, like some niches that I have, like baking. Like I never ever.
You're a really, really good baker.
But like I never thought, I literally didn't even start baking until the pandemic. Like until the pandemic, I never even gave baking a try. I never even like had interest in it. And it's like, because I just assumed it was like, oh, I probably wouldn't, it'd be whatever. Like I didn't think I would enjoy it, so I just didn't do it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, okay. So I went that many years just completely oblivious to the fact that like I enjoyed baking and can do baking. And it's like that kind of thing is like people assume that if you don't, like you're supposed to be born knowing your niche, and you might, but I think that everyone has more than one niche. So I feel like you're meant to find your niche throughout life to keep it interesting. You're always learning new things you're good at.
Right. Well, I think you're meant to probably discover them throughout your life too. Like obviously you've got a main one, which maybe, you know, let's say that's your source of income, your main niche. And then you've got these other little things that is just kind of like your hobby.
Yeah.
You know? But it was funny the other day when you were like, most people don't even know what the definition of a niche is.
Yeah. Because the problem is when people get really upset when they feel like they don't have a niche or they can't figure out their niche. And I was the same way where I was trying hobbies and none of them were sticking the way I wanted them to. So I was just like, there must not be any.
I'm giving up.
Yeah, it's like, just like, fuck it. Well, it doesn't come to me immediately, so it must not be a thing. But when you remember, like, that a niche is like a small percentage, like it's a rarity type of thing. It's a small niche group. It's not supposed to be the majority. So it is.
In the haystack.
It's like it's a needle in the haystack. You're going to probably go through a lot before you figure out your niches, but it doesn't mean you should just give up. And it's really easy to give up when you're searching in the hay and you still have only finding hay. But the needle is in there. You have to remember that, because if not, you will like kind of, I hate to say give up on yourself, but you do. Like you're more likely to give up on yourself in small like ways.
Right. And if you've got external factors, external people telling you, oh my gosh, you never stick with anything, you always give up so fast, blah 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 blah. Well, like, yo, if it doesn't resonate with you and you don't truly have some type of desire and passion for it, then like I feel like it also ties into people, this is kind of off topic, but when people try to exercise to lose weight, but they're not enjoying any of the physical activity.
Yeah, the whole workout is like a torture.
My entire life until I was 24 years old, I tried to work out to lose weight and to get in shape. And like, I fell in love with powerlifting, and that was awesome, and it made me like really, really strong. But I wasn't like able to, you know, shed off fat. That's what I wanted. I wanted to be like, I wanted visible muscles and like you could barely see it. And I was also a teenager anyways.
Like also like, you know, not yet.
You know, I needed to be doing cardio, and so I would always try things like running and like biking, and I have never, not once in my life, experienced a runner's high. To the people that have, congrats. I'm sure it's awesome. But I've ran a couple of miles. Like I did track and cross country when I was younger.
So
like
you never did. See, I never did that. That's why I assumed I haven't felt this. I'm like, well, I haven't really.
I don't like running. It's not my thing. It hurts.
My body.
Terrible.
Yeah.
But I started jiu-jitsu. I've lost over 20 pounds since I started jiu-jitsu, and I'm the thinnest I've ever been in my life. I've got visible muscles. I'm very content. I'm very happy, and it's because I fell in love with the sport of jiu-jitsu. And I wasn't doing it to lose weight. I didn't join jiu-jitsu to lose weight. I joined it because I loved martial arts, and I had started watching friggin' Cobra Kai. I was watching Cobra Kai on Netflix and I was like, oh my god, I've always loved martial arts movie. Oh yeah, dopamine hit. You were like, I'm in. And like, I literally posted a Facebook status. I was like, yo, does anybody know any like BJJ schools locally? And like one of my old co-workers was like, yeah, go to Vita. And I was like,
so crazy.
Showed up. I messaged them and I showed up the next day. And I made Marshall come.
I wish I had the.
I was like, you want to go?
Like, honestly, I wish if you
It's not always the best.
Well, I definitely get it because I was telling, like, Sam right now, I feel like has a high dopamine, so you can't sit still. There. Dopamine, though, is important. How can I tie that back in?
It is important. Don't worry about it. Go off what you were saying.
I don't remember what the fuck I was saying now. My brain was trying to like loop it back to now.
Well, that was off topic because it was talking about like your niche. You know,
jiu-jitsu
was my niche in terms of working out and cardio. Like that is what I absolutely love, and it keeps me in shape. Find something you love. Like if you love skateboarding, go do that. You know, rollerblading, jump roping. Like there's so many.
I've seen so many
hooping is like so much exercise. Get you an aerial hoop. Go learn some silks. Like do something that is engaging your body and your energy. And stripper pole. We did that.
A lot. That's full body workout.
Brittany and I did the stripper pole for about almost a year during the pandemic when it first broke out, and that shit kept us in shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say it is a full body workout. I had some
more knees though, man. My knees were covered in bruises, but now it's my shins that are covered in bruises.
Yeah, you didn't really let go of the bruising, you just moved location.
Yeah, I just bruise easy. Find your niche. If you're trying to get healthy, find something you love to do. That's
there's best advice healthy niches out there. You'd be surprised at like what you enjoy that is like a healthy like thing. So sometimes it's like random.
Cooking. Learning all these new recipes with oats as like the main ingredient basically has been such a fun hobby of mine. That's recently. Fair. And it's so healthy.
Yeah.
Oh, you know, I'd be posting it up on the Snapchat. Yeah, like, feel free to screenshot. This is delicious.
It did look delicious though.
It was so like good.
When I saw that, I was like, I did laugh when I read, feel free to screenshot. I was like, look at Don.
Because people will slide up and ask me, they're like, do you mind if I screenshot? Or they'll be like, hey, I only screenshot it because I want to make this. And I'm like, why I don't care who screenshots my stories. First off, I don't check.
Yeah.
I don't check who watches my stories, and I don't check who screenshots. I did for a period of time, but I was like, I don't care.
Like, I just have curiosity.
I don't have the time in my day to care about something like that because I'm doing so many other things.
That's fair. That is fair. There are certain things I'll like check about. Like if I do like a singing video, you bet I'm watching and seeing like who opened like my story. Like when I posted like something singing, so I'm like, they heard me.
Right.
Like whatever they got. Like art. I feel like that's really. I do it for the critique, like knowing who had eyes on like whatever the art thing I created, something like that.
That's fair. See, if the only thoughts I'll have is like, you know, I'll post something, and if it's something of me, especially like a mirror pic or something, because I've always been insecure about those. I'm like, I wonder who's gonna see this and think I'm hot. Because now, like, I find myself attractive.
Yeah,
like,
so it's a great time.
I'm like, I wonder who like thinks I'm attractive too. But I still don't go watch I still don't go see who watches my stories.
Well, you know, Snapchat has an update and it shows you when people rewatch your story.
No.
Yeah, they don't show you who does it though, so you don't know who's rewatching it, but you see how many people.
We're still safe.
Yeah, but it is so funny because I love it. I love it. It doesn't tell you, even though I wish it did tell you, because I'm just like curious. But I do love it because you can see like who like really wanted to read what you posted. Like they'll click again to like finish reading it. Right. I'm like, wow, they actually give a shit.
Wow.
Yeah, or like your selfie like a few times. You're like, why'd you go back? Why'd you look at it again?
What was you doing? What was you telling me about? You know?
Yeah, it's like how did that come up?
I don't know. Anyways, what else about niches? I think the biggest thing that we wanted to touch on was, you know, don't get discouraged no matter how hard it is or how hard it might be to continue the search for, you know, the thing that really resonates with your heart and soul. And, you know, when you find it and you feel that feeling, you feel that little flame, cup your hands around it, nurture it, continue to let it grow and build so that you can, you know, make it a reality and feed that tree, whatever. whatever you want to call
Feed
it.
that tree.
I don't know, man. Sometimes I try to search for like the analogies or whatever, and I'm just like, I just keep saying words. And I'm like, do you know what I mean yet? I'm like, I'm desperate.
Fair.
I'm like,
you saying that?
there's something in my head, and there's a vision and a picture.
Oh, you're trying to like pick the word.
it.
That's fair. Well, you bring up like looking for analogies. Made me remember the analogy I was trying to think about. I thought about earlier when you were talking about like niches and how there's like a main one. You have all these little ones. My metaphor for that is talking about like your main quest and the side quests in games, like an open world game. There's a bunch of side quests, a bunch of activities you can go run and do. You have your main thing, but you have a bunch. It's an open world.
You and the video game analogies are amazing. I love it. I'm not gonna lie.
Like
every time you bring them out, I'm like,
because it really, I find
I never
that
think of these.
yeah, like I find that the video game analogy has been the most efficient analogy across the board of all spectrum of people. There's a certain cutoff like
most
age.
people have played some sort.
It's like there's a certain age like where like that doesn't like video games are kind of harder for them to grasp, but like for the most part, people can understand like the concept of like open world game or Sims, and it's a very easy way to navigate and explain like what different things you can like do, and just make it a digestible understanding. This is the word I'm looking for.
There you go with the word usage.
Niches, right?
Why are they important? Why do we need them?
There's tons of niches, and a lot of them, most of them, I feel like all of them have purpose, but most of them have purpose that can be practical. For instance, like there are some people who genuinely enjoy building things. There's people who genuinely enjoy gardening, who enjoy cooking, who enjoy baking, who enjoy painting, who enjoy decorating. Like even like the concept of someone who's like a room decorator, interior decorator, like that's a niche, but like that is something that's really important.
Not good at it.
To make a room very flow and look really like, especially like on an energetic level, feel very nice when you go in. Like it really is something like to that. And so all these little niches are important because they're important. We needed them to build society, and we'll need them if society crashes. We'll always need the niches.
If it crashes and burns, like possibly this country. So develop your niches because someone's trying to like, do something mean. With like mean to us maybe sometime soon. Hint, hint, wink, wink. Are we allowed to talk about this?
I don't know. I was thinking about that. That's why I was like, I paused. I was like, are we allowed to like, not to like, because it's like, it doesn't want to come across.
So y'all know Alaska.
It's like, we don't want to come across as like fear mongering because we're not
fear mongering.
But there's definitely how the news works in America is really offensive because it's very controlled in what we do and do not share. On like they push certain topics. Right, like they really want that topic to,
and it's all to invoke fear.
Yes, and they get all these different reactions out of people, and a lot of times they have distraction methods where they'll like, for instance, like the Johnny Depp like trial that was so everywhere. Why? Because they were distracted from other stuff that was going on, like more like genuine, like serious, like
right. Well, I mean, that was pretty much the outbreak of the war in the beginning. During
it's like everyone was preoccupied with the trial, which was an important trial for their lives, but not for the lives of all of America and the world. But at that same time, we were ignoring the stuff that like, Russia's like was doing in the Ukraine, but they're still doing. The fact that Russia's talked about wanting to take Alaska.
Like there are billboards.
Yeah, supposedly. Yeah, it's like they say it's like the
take back Alaska.
Yeah, they say it's like the extremists like in the thing, but it is on a billboard, so it is more of like it's not just like no one's really knowing about it. But where is that in the news? Like I had to I saw it somewhere and I was like, what? So I had to like deep research, and it was like shocking to me that it wasn't everywhere all over the news because it wasn't an immediate just because it wasn't an immediate threat because they're not currently doing anything. The fact that they are talking about wanting Alaska is something that should be brought up, just like how New York put out the PSA for like, they say there's no like nuclear threat currently, but they did put the PSA out because they want people to be prepared.
Yeah.
So the fact that they're putting these things out, it should be known because the only way to combat fear is with knowledge, and so being aware of something allows you to actually learn about it and understand it, so you're not afraid of it because you've faced whatever it is, you've faced it fully, so whatever comes at you, you know, I've already thought about this, we're going to do it this way, like,
I've done this before,
because when you first read about that kind of stuff, it's very scary. So
I felt they were telling me about it, and I was like, why do I have anxiety in my chest now? And I was just, it's the first time you're hearing about it in, like, real possibility. Yeah. So, but the one thing that, you know, us as humans, as light workers, starseeds, whatever, we can't approach this, we can't go into this with fear. Like Saige was saying, we just have to do the things that we can to prepare and to set things in place. You know, it's like we were talking about earlier, like, why has everybody subconsciously been feeling the need and the urge to learn how to grow their own food and collect and purify rainwater and be self-sufficient? Why is everybody having the urge to do this?
People have been, like, slowly trying to step away from the more, like, capitalistic things that's going on. It's like, yeah, we've in America especially, like, has been slowly building up over time, but it is drastically, the amount of people talking about it is, in my opinion, I think it is one of those more of, like, unheard things, because while we've never had technology to communicate the way we do now, like back when there were, like, other, like, wars and different things going on, like, that was threatening with America or whatever, yes, like, the knowledge is be able to be spread more. But even before anything popped off, even if nothing does, like, go further, people have been just wanting to build an independence with themselves where they feel like they can rely on themselves and not need the capitalist society that has made us feel like we need the capitalism to survive. Everyone's been like, I want to go back to remembering that I got this, and the society is something that's supposed to help, but it's not something. Yeah, community is what we like, help each other,
small communities.
But we're not, like, it's not like I have to have.
Exactly. I'm even seeing people, like, you know, out here trading produce and stuff.
I was saying, people are like the barter system is coming back.
Yeah, bartering, like, that it should have never gone away.
No, it shouldn't have, because it's like the barter system is way better than money. Because it's backed by something. Our money is not backed by gold anymore, so what's the point? It's not backed by anything. It's stupid. So we might as well go back to the barter system.
Made up paper.
Everyone has their niches. Everyone has the things they do. You basically just like, hey, this is what I need, or this is what I want, and you figure out what they need, and you just be like, can I do this or not? If not, is there anything else?
Right. Like, and if it's not, it's like, hey, I don't need that, but someone that I know needs this, and they would trade me this for that, so you can middleman and facilitate deals. Like, come on, baby.
You can do a whole.
So it really ties in communities a lot more.
Yes, I feel like a community, and not like we just live around each other.
Right. That's what and there's so much separation happening. Like, I really do think that all of these changes, like, yes, there's scary things that are gonna have to happen to get us to the point where we can live in these communities and just
have
happier, honestly.
We can't have, like, it is a yin-yang system in the world, like, and as much as we want, like, this utopia is, like, there's going to have to be serious stuff that happens to get to a more positive realm.
Right. And we're all over here, we're all manifesting this higher vibrational earth. Well, we're only looking at part of the picture, and you have to look at the whole picture, but not with fear. You know, it's like, hey, we're strong, we've got this, we've been preparing for this, you know, we're gonna somehow figure out how to get through this shitstorm that's coming, and then we're going to end up in, you know, whatever you want to call it, the promised land or something.
You know, there's just like a happier, more well-rounded societies.
Yeah.
I feel like
combining,
you have to keep in mind the increase drastically of people that are trying to openly, like, manifest a higher round, you know, like, living ability, like, society, whatever. So if you've got to keep in mind, if there's a lot of people putting in that energy, do you think the universe receives that energy and deciphers it slowly, or do you think it, like, feels it and it goes, pop back? So there's going to be big changes probably because so many people want to change. It's going to happen slowly
They
over
want
time.
a certain outcome of change
Or
too.
more,
They don't
yeah.
know how they want it to happen, so they're like,
I want this.
oh shit. It's like when you ask for healing and then all the deep grueling shadow
Yes,
comes,
it's like-
you're like, I didn't ask for this, and you're like, oh shit, I actually did ask for
Exactly.
this, and you're like, how do I get through it? But you put
That's
your
where
head
we're
down.
in right now.
You use all of the tools that you've learned, your breath work, your meditation, everything.
You look to your community.
Your
Whatever that
community,
is
your
to you.
relationships. I guess we could touch a little bit on that too. So last week we're experiencing the full moon in Capricorn,
Mm-hmm.
whoop, whoop. And huge topic for this moon was like soul contracts, and specifically the ending of certain soul contracts and the beginning of new ones.
More positive, like frequency, like higher frequency. I won't say positive, or higher frequency, like soul contracts.
Higher frequency soul contracts that are gonna, positively impact your life. So if anybody's experiencing like, the ending of a certain, relationship, whether it be a romantic partner or a friendship, that is a topic and a thing that's going on right now.
Even your family.
Family members separating from toxic relationships
Yeah.
with family. If you've decided to cut someone off, that is happening right now. And the energies, the universe's energy is encouraging you to cut those ties. So if you've been feeling the need and you made the decision, or you're thinking about making the decision, just know that it probably is the right one to go ahead and, even if it's just temporarily, cut that tie so that, you and that other person, relationship, whatever, can, grow and hopefully maybe mend it in the future one day. But right now the universe is really just trying to bring you more positive connections into your life. So be open to those, be willing to them, kind of ride it out, because it's a bumpy time when
Yeah, it can definitely be.
when you cut ties with people. It's not an easy process at all. So best of luck to anybody that is dealing with it, because I've been going through that myself, and it's not fun. It's not easy, but ultimately in the end, it's what's best for me and for a lot of people right now.
It's like you want the people you meet in your life, the ones you care about, you want them to play more than one role in your life. So if the current role that they're playing is something that isn't benefiting, like, not that always have to benefit you in some way, but I mean just like if your interactions with them all the time are bringing you down, you're feeling that for a reason. Your body is talking to you.
Right.
And so just because right now maybe how both of you are, maybe it's just maybe y'all encourage each other to do more bad things. Maybe they make you feel shitty about yourself. Maybe you make them feel shitty about themselves. Whatever it is, it could just be something that y'all have something, like both people or one of them had something they need to heal. And that's all it is. Like, that behavior is only happening because of unhealed things. So just because someone's walking away from you now, or you're walking away from someone now, doesn't mean we have a hard time between someone walking away and someone abandoning. And I feel like the biggest thing that I always try to explain is that the only true abandonment is when someone abandons you and refuses to ever come back to you, because you're abandoning your soul. They're saying that you're never going to change. This is who you are forever. We can never do this again. That is an abandonment. You won't even give someone the chance after they've said, I've changed, I've healed, whatever. When you're saying, I'm done with you, and you're saying, I need time, or I'm just done with you, you might not talk to that person for years. You might not. You might not ever talk to them again. But you also might talk to them again and then realize that the only reason y'all had what y'all was going through at the time was because y'all were feeding on those unhealed parts of each other. It's like sometimes that all you just need time to heal from those things so that it's a whole different relationship, friendship, whatever, when you come back.
Right. I heard someone talking one day, and it was like, what do you think the actual purpose of a relationship is? And it's like, whether it's friendship, family relationship, or a romantic relationship, the point of a relationship is to, be able to be safely triggered by this friend or this partner or this family member, and either realize the trigger yourself or have them help point it out for you, and have this other person create a safe enough space for you to realize this trigger, become aware of it, heal it, and, you know, make it no more, deal with it, you know, and time goes on, it lessens. So, you know, Brittany and I, for example, do a great job of doing that. You know, when we were on our road trip, we were together 24/7, man. And so we fought a lot. There were some spats, and like we made each other cry a couple of times, but I can't even explain how much closer and how much stronger we are after those 9 days, because like, I mean, there was this one where like I was unintentionally doing something. I was truly just like trying to navigate through the city and find my way. I didn't know where I was, you know, and she like wanted me to help her pick a place for us to go hang out at. We were looking for a little smoke lounge to go smoke and chill, whatever the fuck is. And I was like, yeah, those sound cool, but I wasn't like being super excited about the places because I was paying attention driving in a city I didn't know. And like,
and she misread it, but you're not interested.
She read it as I wasn't interested, but it also triggered her to times in our relationship where I did hurt her like that, where I straight up was not paying attention to her. I was just ignoring her. I wasn't interested in what she was saying.
Right.
You know, I was too high, or I was watching TV, or I was in my phone. And I did that for a long period of time, you know, for years, and it hurt me so bad to realize that I had hurt her like that. And so we were like yelling at each other and talking, and then I was like, why? Well, what are you even triggered on? And she looked me in the eyes and she was crying. She was like, our relationship. And dude, that was like a knife to the chest. I was like, holy shit, bro. But yeah. I was like, oh my god. And I just like, I shut down. I froze immediately. My like abandonment was triggered. I was like, I've hurt her so bad, she's gonna leave me because I'm a piece of shit, whatever, all this stuff. And so I was like, I started just kind of like rocking back and forth, and I was like, I need a journal for a little bit. And she was like, I'm gonna go take a walk. We separated with the intention of coming back and fixing it. And I mean, you know, I poured my heart out into this journaling session, and that's the one I posted on Snapchat about. And you know, when she came back from her walk, I was like, I'm so fucking sorry that, you know, I did do this, and you know, this is what I've realized in my journaling, and you know, this is what I'm gonna do moving forward too. And in the future, when I can't give you my full attention and we're trying to pick something, I will let you know that I'm not able to give you my full attention right now, so that we can avoid these. So it's like, you have to be willing to like kind of separate, sit in the uncomfortableness and deal with that. I forgot what the original point of this story was in the first place, honestly.
Oh, about how the relationships in your life, they're meant to safely trigger and heal your soul. Your soul's learning. It's not on a very, if you think about it, not on a soul level, you kind of get where you're like, well, I always want things to be perfect with my friends, with my partner. That's not the case, and if it is, then you're not being truly authentically you, because you are human and there is full spectrum, and you're also healing. No one's perfect, and we're in a society where we're taught heavily not to heal and not to recognize and to walk away when things are really uncomfortable. Like, not that like there are healthy breakups, of course, a lot of people have to break up to find the people, if you jump into things, whatever, but we do have a very strong breakup culture, which is like the second it gets bad, walk away. And there are some people that you're like, well, it's not just black and white. It's not a black and white world. And so sometimes in order to heal, you do have to have these really uncomfortable moments where either you're the one feeling hurt by whatever, or you're realizing what you did wrong that then makes you feel weird. I hate that moment.
Oh, when you realize you're the one that fucked up and did wrong, you're like, dude, I want to throw up.
Yeah, you're like, ew.
The guilt and the shame.
I just want to walk up and be like, I'm sorry, I'm shitty. Like, run away. Like, I don't want to think about it.
And that's the ego still like there. And I've been like pinning my ego down. Like, no, you bitch, you're gonna humble yourself.
Yeah, so
you're
you have
to go over there and you're gonna say
what?
sorry. And like, I'll go up to Brittany with literal tears in my eyes, and I'm like,
yeah.
And I just have to like basically sob out the apology of like, okay, this is what I realized.
That's
like,
fair.
I'm sorry for this. This hurts. I'm sorry I hurt you. I'm gonna do my best if I can change it.
Yeah, it's a really weird.
So yeah,
it's like you have to keep each other in check.
So
yeah, that's really important. I feel like a lot of people don't understand what it means to have a safe space, because unfortunately a lot of people don't have one. And like by a lot of people, they're not provided with one, so they have to create one. And everyone creates safe spaces all the time, but it is really unfortunate when you haven't been provided with one in any capacity, because then you don't understand how to create a safe space, what it even feels like, and sometimes that can feel scary.
Right.
It's like a lot of problems that like Sam and I had was like me just like not feeling like I ever had like a safe space where I could like talk about things that someone did wrong, because I did have some history of if I brought up to someone what they did, it was shut down, and it was like they wouldn't sit with it, and so it was like, well, I don't want to like make you uncomfortable. I don't want to, so I'll just like suck it up. And it's like stuff like that. It's like you don't realize how much you need that, and when you have that safe space where you can go, hey, you were a dick today, I didn't like it, then you can actually talk about what's like going on when like it's really unhealthy when you can't. When you can't, when the other person's ego basically is too much in front, and they're like, what do you mean I was a dick? And they get offended by it, and they can't just hold it for a second and actually look at it and be like, damn, like I did do that. Or even just a simple sit with it enough to go, can you explain how I came across that way, because I didn't mean that. I'm notorious for that.
It could be such a big misunderstanding in the first place.
I've gotten better, but I will come across at times very much like a bitch. One of my alters comes across very, very much like a bitch more than the rest. And oftentimes whenever someone's like, that was bitchy, like, I'll literally be like, can you explain like how that came across? I didn't mean for that to come across that way, because I'm trying to understand.
I have to do that with Brittany too. I was like, that was rude. She was like, how was that rude?
Yeah, it's like, the autism. I don't know. I didn't process it that way. It's like, I will have no idea. I'm like, and then like,
then when you realize, you're like,
when it gets broken down, you're like, I'm so sorry. I did not think that. I didn't think of it that way. Like, I literally had no capacity to understand that. It's like how it came across, and I'll be like, oh my god, I was a bitch. And that's the worst. But accepting it and acknowledging it usually makes the guilt go away. The guilt's there mostly because you're not admitting it. The guilt, you don't realize that a lot of the guilt you're feeling when you're feeling guilty is with you keeping it a secret. Keeping something to yourself makes you feel guilty, no matter what it is. So if you're keeping something from someone, that is guilt. Like, you're gonna feel guilty. So the second you say it, the guilt automatically gets dialed back, because that was one of the biggest guilt triggers in the whole situation, was that you didn't want to say it. You didn't want it to come out. Whether it's because you didn't want how it made you look, how it made you feel, whatever the fuck the reason is, not accept, like, once you say it, automatically you feel like a weight has lifted off of you, and you're like, wow, it kind of gets addicting. Then you just want to, every time you feel it, you're like, I'm sorry, you want to start saying it as soon as before they even bring it up to you, because you realize the release it feels to be like, you know what, I just caught myself. Like, I'm like, oh, that was mean, I'm sorry, I caught it. It's like, because you know that if not, it'll build. I'll sit for like an hour, and I'm like,
bro, I had this one time where I was like super hangry, and I like snapped and said something at Brittany, and I didn't even mean to. Like, it didn't even like came out before I could even like
process.
And like we went over and we're waiting on our food. I didn't say anything for a few minutes, and then I just started like talking about some random shit on the wall, and she was like basically like, why are you talking to me?
Yeah, like, oh, excuse me.
Like, and she was like, you're talking to me like everything's okay, so I just want you to know that like everything's not okay. And, like, that was mean. And I was just like, my ego, bitch, my ego is such a little cunt in this one, because it was like, I was about to apologize. I needed a few more minutes, okay? I knew that I did that, and it was fucking wrong, but you don't get to always bring things up on your time and talk blah, blah, blah. You wanted to apologize. It was so embarrassing to even think about it. I'm like,
I hate when I ever talk about it. I'm like, it gives me the
embarrassment.
I hate giving myself the ick.
Oh, I give myself the ick so much, because I just like behave so ridiculously sometimes.
I'm just like, what are you love? Like, you know better.
But I really was proud of myself this morning when the milk frother thing.
Yeah, honestly, proud of you, because
I totally could have had a mental breakdown over that.
I probably would have sobbed and sat on the floor like
I was like, you know what, it's just not worth it. This is
it's like, you really have to laugh.
fake laughed at it because I was hard to push that one out. And I was like, I think I let out a little bit of anger with that one.
I was like, like that deranged laugh. Fucking deranged laugh. Just.
Me and Marshall used to do that all the time.
Oh my god. It feels like it's in a scary movie.
Yeah, it's just very eerie.
You're just like here in the dark alley.
What else we got on the topic list today?
What is that from? Wheel of Fortune. I never was a Wheel of Fortune gal. The dude
I used to sit and watch that with
like
my
a
grandma
Barbie doll.
every day. I don't even remember what he looked like. I just remember the hot ass models that would go like touch
I just remember the
letters, and then the weird ass people they would bring onto there.
Yeah, they do bring on some people. See, I was just more like Family Feud, as we know from last episode.
We're gonna have to get the Wheel of Fortune tuned. I think we did a pretty good job.
Honestly, yeah.
I don't think we had the Family Feud one right. It was.
It was right.
Yeah.
It was so right. All we needed was Steve Harvey. I want to be Steve Harvey so bad.
Oh my god.
We need to figure out, they need to have like, there has to be some time we can go on it and be like the Ethereal Podcast, and then you have 2 podcasts, and we have like our team, and we're like, alright, and then we have the Ethereal Podcast and promo, and we get to go on Family Feud.
Look, y'all make it happen. Give us on Family Feud. We'll do it. All of our 23 listeners. Spread the word. No, for real though, we appreciate everybody that watches this, like, so much.
It feels like our own little TV show.
Yeah. A lot of friends and stuff have expressed to me that they have watched it and gotten tidbits here and there and how it really helped, and that warms my heart more than anything.
Blows my noggin.
Literally the reason we do this. So
yeah, it's like the reason we do it, and also like
some tips.
Yeah, it like goes into that like, the fear in the beginning when you're like, is anyone gonna like think this is relevant, or are we just gonna be like random people just like talking like in front of a camera with no like substance? And so whenever people like do message and they're like, really got something from this, or I really enjoyed
related
this, and I was like, y'all are real! Oh my god!
This is like just imaginary, because
literally
our entire lives
imaginary.
is imaginary.
Yeah,
We're
like I would
performing for fake crowds.
I would hear the crowd, but they wouldn't be there. So
yeah, same.
I imagine when we're doing a podcast, I imagine that we have chairs set up and all of our subscribers are sitting in the chairs.
You imagine that?
I mean, I pretend to.
She said I pretend, guys, right? You can't see it. God damn it.
I pretend they're there though.
I have never, not once, but my mind perceives it as if I am watching it on a YouTube screen as I'm recording it.
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's interesting.
I have no idea.
Interesting.
But it's like sometimes I'll say something and then you'll start responding to that, and then I'll zone out for a second and I'm like, I wonder how the audience is going to perceive what I just said. And then I'm like, what is they saying? I have to go back and pay.
See, that never happens to me. My brain is off.
The ADHD is strong. My brain doesn't turn off.
My brain be off when I'm in front of this bitch.
I think about several other things during the podcast.
I pretend I'm on live stream. So my whole thing, I'm like in my celebrity mode. I'm like, I am sitting down on Oprah.
Celebrity mode.
Sitting down with Oprah, having my 60 minutes. That's what it feels
I guess
like.
I could try that next time.
It feels like, yeah, that's what I pretend like. So I feel like it gets me, I feel like it's because it tries to keep me on topic better, because I am bad at like rambling and about random shit. So if I pretend like I'm on like a serious like show or something, I try to like sound more
have
intelligent.
a structure,
yeah,
kind of like
I try to like make sure it falls back somehow.
Right.
Try to tie shit in.
Segue. You and that segue.
I do love segues. I want to get on a segue. Aren't these things real?
They are. You have to like lean forward really weird when you ride them. We saw people riding them in
Oh,
Colorado.
that's that rich people thing. Never feeling like
Yes.
I want an electric bike. See, right after I said I pretend I'm on TV shows so I keep my shit together, then I'm talking about wanting an electric bike, but I do. I saw them online.
You want to know a really funny story?
What?
We were so pissed off when this happened, but it's hilarious now. Okay, so you know the little Lime scooters and stuff that you can rent? You can reserve one for 10 minutes with your phone and it'll lock it.
Okay.
Me and Brittany were leaving Denver Pride. We're walking blocks. We're trying to find a damn scooter. And we reserve them, and like the first one we went up to was dead.
Like, you can reserve a dead one?
Listen,
That shouldn't be a thing.
listen, Saige. So we're like, God damn it. So it's okay. There was a couple more, like 2 blocks away. We both reserved. We go to them. We walk up. We see it's like a little red circle line through it. We're like, damn it, these are dead too. Girl, we went to like 10 of them before we realized that they had the red lock because they were locked by us.
I was literally about to be like, y'all, we need to message this company. They should not let you go up.
You don't think you can reserve a day? And on the app, I realized after it shows you the fucking battery life on a green circle.
How much did y'all walk?
Like 20 blocks. I wanted to kill myself. I was so mad. And we ended up getting an Uber.
Y'all didn't even notice then?
Well, we did, but
Y'all just too mad. I'm pissed. Imagine if I had any drop of alcohol in me, I'd be pissed. Even sober, I would have been pissed.
we did. We had a couple. Like I had one drink at Pride.
That's all you
had
need
like
to,
2 little
like,
shots. Yeah.
Get angry in those situations.
And I'm telling you, I was livid. I was like,
I cannot believe that.
and then Brittany was like, we're gonna laugh about this. And I was like, I'm not fucking laughing about it yet. I'm still pissed. And then we ate dinner, and I was like, yeah, it was kind of funny.
If you can't find whatever you're doing funny, either you need to eat or take a nap. That's usually the truth.
Yo, and then we got Ubered to the place right after all that. The sushi place we went to was like one of those ones where you go to with like a big group of people and you all pay like 80 to 100
like a
each,
lot.
and y'all just split big plates of it. And we were like, I was like, I'm not trying to spend $160 right now. What the fuck? And the lady, the server came up and she was just like trying to explain everything, but she was talking so loud and so quick, and there were so many noises, and I was already hungry and angry, and I was like, I couldn't hear a word she said. My leg was shaking like this. I was like, I can't. And Brittany was like, she knew, and I was like, honestly, I think we're just gonna take a minute and chat. Could you come back? And she was like, yeah, you know, I'll leave y'all. And then I was like, so you ready to go? And we just left. We're like, we're gonna go. So, yeah, it was not a fun experience, but it's hilarious now.
That
to think
is
back on.
so
And we ended up
fucking
going to another sushi restaurant, and it was so good.
How much time did y'all spend walking up and down?
I don't know, we walked for like an hour. We walked for a while after Pride before
literally
we
just
finally
wanted
gave up and
sushi.
called the Uber. Yeah. We were like, we're gonna go eat some sushi and then we're gonna go to Red Rocks. We did not go to Red Rocks because it was so late by the time we finished eating. We were like, we're going back and we're going to take a dab.
That sounds amazing. I would have been the same. I'm
So
just imagining me and Sam in that situation, and it just is killing me because I just know
he'd
that
be raging out.
he'd be like, in my head, I'm just like, we'd both be mad, but in my head, whenever I imagine like you and Brittany situations, I imagine Sam being in your place and me being Brittany's.
Oh, of course.
And so I'm just imagining, but what makes it greater to me is I'm imagining like Sam looking at things, and then at the end, that moment when like Sam like realizing that he misread like the symbol, and I just like, I hate, like, you hate to say that sometimes someone's anger is funny, but it would be funny. Because I just know, like, I just can't imagine that moment of realizing what that symbol really meant. Because I just know y'all really, truly believe they were all dead.
It was one of the most disheartening things I've ever experienced. It was just like, it was like everyone. Before that, we had rode them around, but after that, I don't think we rode them again.
Oh, but y'all didn't, like, put them on hold. That's why y'all didn't know about the symbol before. Y'all just like walked up to them before?
No, we've reserved them before. We just didn't notice the freaking symbol, I guess. I don't know, dude. I don't know. And I had the thought, when we finally walked up to one, I was like,
how are they all?
I had the thought when we were walking to our next one, I was like, hold up, let me see. And I walked up and I scanned it and it unlocked and I said, Brittany. I wanted to die. But
the fact y'all was
anyway.
too mad to get on the scooters at that point and go. Like, that's how y'all know it was bad. Y'all spent a while. Because
I think we actually know, we did end up riding them to the next sushi restaurant. Because what had happened was we realized we got the Uber to the sushi restaurant that we left.
right.
And so we still needed to get to the
other
next one
places,
that was
yeah.
blocks away, and there were 2 scooters, and we were like, okay, run to these, reserved them, got on them, and
Observed them, scanned them, got that little
Yeah.
symbol gone.
Woo. Peace. So if anybody's in that situation, they're not locked.
Well, they are locked. They're not dead.
Shit.
And that about wraps up this episode.
Yep. On that note, thank you for joining us on the
Episode
Ethereal
16.
Podcast. Yep. We'll see you guys next time. Love and light and gratitude.